checked my emails and seen how much I paid for this, and I am in shock. I mean, I'm just gonna plead temporary insanity from having acne scars, because I quite honestly can't believe I paid this. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, then my name's Sarah. I make videos every single week talking about my acne journey and how my skin managed to go from this to this, and what I'm doing to maintain clear skin. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you about acne scars, because once you've cleared your acne, most of the time you're left with some sort of scarring or hyperpigmentation that you really want to get rid of. That was certainly the case for me. So once I'd managed to clear my acne, I was then left with quite a lot of scarring and lots of red marks all across my cheeks and face, and I really wanted to get rid of them. So I did a ton of research about how to go about this. And the one thing that I think really has helped is derma rolling, which I'm going to make a completely separate video about. But whilst derma rolling is really good for the indentation scars, so the ones that are kind of like shallow pitted scars, that certainly has helped, and I'm going to make a separate video about that. But what I really wanted to tackle first of all was the red marks. So I'll show a photo now about what my skin looked like once I'd managed to clear my acne and the scars that were left. So what I should point out here is that the red marks left on your skin are not scars. They will eventually fade. The things that are more difficult to treat are the actual sort of textual issues, so like the indentations and any kind of keloid scars as well, which might be sort of raised above the surface. They are much more difficult to treat than actually just discoloration on your skin. However, with that being said, it is the discoloration that you notice first if you're not wearing any makeup or you've just recently cleared up your acne. So that was sort of stage one, if you like. I wanted to clear up the red marks, and I did a ton of research about what I should do to get rid of them. You can, of course, cover these things up with makeup, but quite frankly, who wants to be living under 10 layers of foundation all day, every day? I certainly didn't, and it was the summer, I wanted to go to the beach, and I was quite depressed about having acne that year, and I really wanted to just kind of get rid of all traces of it as soon as possible. So I took to the internet and researched a ton of different laser treatments, which I thought would be the first point of call. That's what I'd read lots of people doing once they'd had either done a course of Roaccutane or they'd cleared up their skin or what have you. They then decided to do laser treatments. Now I'd read a lot about sort of Fraxel laser, and it just didn't seem like something I wanted to go through. I didn't think that the science was there, and I really didn't believe that that was going to completely clear up my scarring, and I thought it was quite a traumatic thing to go through, so I actually ruled that out. So the type of laser that I decided to go for was called Vbeam laser. I researched this to death. So I decided this is definitely the way to go about reducing red marks. It's also called, I'm just reading here, pulse dye laser, but I think maybe it's the brand or the type of machine used is called Vbeam. So I decided to have a good research about where the best places were to get Vbeam laser, particularly here in the UK, and then decided which doctor I wanted to go with. So I actually decided to get this done privately. So I think there are options that you can get this done on the NHS, I believe. So obviously having to pay quite a bit of money to do this, I wanted to make sure I was getting the absolute best treatment. I wanted to guarantee that it would work. So I researched that the best doctor to do this through was Dr. Madan, and I'll put his details below. And I actually had this treatment at the Salford Royal Hospital, which was in Manchester. So I live in London, so I drove up to Manchester for my consultation and had my 3 treatments with him. I guess we're going to do a bit of a story time now to tell you kind of my experiences and how the whole process kind of went, really. So yeah, first up, I had the consultation. Dr. Madan was super helpful. He had a really good chat with me about what I expected to get out of this and the reasons that I was doing it. He explained that I would need downtime, so it wasn't a case of just having this laser on like a Monday and going back to work on a Tuesday. That would definitely not be possible. So I really had to factor in what holiday allowance I had left at work and whether I could kind of, reshuffle kind of my life so that I could have this period of a week after the laser treatment where I could be at home, whether that be working from home or just, sitting at home doing nothing really. He was super helpful. He had lots of knowledge about this. He'd done this plenty of times for acne scars, so I really trusted him. So I had 3 rounds of treatment. Here's what my skin looked like before any treatment whatsoever. I'll put up a picture now. These are the sort of red marks and scarring that I was dealing with. So going up to see him in Manchester was a little bit traumatic, I'll be honest, because I really didn't know what to expect. I was on my own. It was a sort of 3-4 hour drive almost. But then once I got there, the nurses and everybody there were really sweet, really helpful, and kind of put me at ease, to be honest. So the feeling that you get when you're getting this laser is like an elastic band is sort of snapping on your skin. And I'll be honest, it was a bit painful. It wasn't as painful as I expected, but it definitely did hurt. So I would bear that in mind if this is something that you're considering. If you have a really kind of low pain threshold, then this might not be the best option for you. But I have to say, the idea of laser and how I imagined it to feel, it was nothing as bad as that at all. I think it's actually just the kind of shock, because the laser sort of zaps, and when the laser zaps, it kind of gives you a bit of a shock. So I think it was that was more the problem than the actual physical pain. So I'll now show you what I look like after a round of Vbeam laser. So as you can see, they are like circular bruises all over my face. Now, I want to say that they really hurt afterwards. I wouldn't say it hurt. I would say it's more of a sort of a dry, burning feeling. And what you had to do is put a layer of sort of really thick moisturiser or Vaseline onto your skin. And that's what I kind of sat in until I went to bed that night. So for a good sort of 6-7 hours, I sat with Vaseline on my face and then went back to just applying a really thick but nourishing moisturiser throughout the rest of the week. So the bruises, I think when anyone saw me in real life, they expected it to be really painful if you touch my skin, but it actually didn't hurt. In fact, I would say after the first few hours, you kind of forget that it's on your skin until you catch yourself in the mirror and think, oh my God, what have I just done to my face? You kind of forget about it and you just kind of get on with things, really. I stayed at home for an entire week and I was really lucky that my friends came over, kept me company. I was able to work from home, so I wasn't completely bored all day. But it was quite a traumatic experience, I have to admit. So really prepare yourself if you're going to do this, because your face just looks completely crazy for an entire week and you cannot leave the house. I mean, you might want to, but really the thought of me going out in public like this was just, not an option for me. In fact, I remember having to drive the entire way home from the first round of laser and really needing to, one, top up with petrol, and two, just get something to eat and, use the facilities. And I was terrified of getting out the car. I literally had like a blanket scarf wrapped around my head, just so that people wouldn't look at me strangely when I went into the services. So I definitely didn't want to go back out in public until this has subsided. So the amount of downtime needed, I would say, was 7 days. So say the laser was on the Monday, by the time I got round to the following Monday, I wouldn't say it had completely gone, but the bruises started to diffuse, if you like. So they weren't so, how would I explain it? So the edges weren't so defined. So you could cover things up with makeup. And then probably by a 2-week period, they were completely gone and you definitely couldn't see anything. And that's when I judged the results. So this is what my skin looked like 2 weeks after my first round of laser. As you can see, redness had definitely started to subside, but I wasn't completely happy with the results, and I was very thankful that I was going to be having 3 rounds of this. So when round 2 came around, I really did not want to go on my own again, because honestly, travelling home like that after the first round had been pretty traumatic. I was really scared about, as I said, going to the services, and I was worried, what if I broke down on the motorway, and I was sort of standing there looking like a crazy person. So I was really grateful that my friend decided to come up with me. And that made the process so much better. I would really recommend going with somebody to the hospital or wherever you're going to get this treatment. Just knowing that you have someone else there, it completely fills you with more confidence, and you can kind of laugh about it with somebody when you literally look crazy after you leave the dermatologist. So the second round of laser did not hurt half as much as the first. I think that really came down to knowing what to expect. I found that the whole process was a lot easier and I healed a lot quicker as well. So the marks that were left after the Vbeam laser, after the pulse dye laser, they weren't as defined, and the marks that were left were not so intense. They didn't seem like such a deep colour, because originally they were sort of a purpley blue colour, I would say, and then this time there was much more sort of like green in them, and they just looked like they were going to heal quicker, and they definitely did. So I'd say after the second round of laser, if I got the laser on the Monday, I think I was definitely able to sort of put makeup on and go out by sort of Sunday this time. So that was much better, and I felt much more reassured that on the third time I did this, that they would heal a lot quicker and I could see the results faster. So here's a picture of what my skin looked like 2 weeks after my second round of Vbeam laser. So again, things are really starting to clear up, and I was feeling really hopeful that this was the right thing for me to do. And now what I'll do is I'll show you what my skin looked like after 2 weeks after the third round of laser. Again, the marks left from the laser were far less intense and much quicker to heal. So after I'd had the laser, say on a Monday, I would say I was able to put makeup on and go out, face the world by Saturday. So the recovery time just got shorter and shorter, and the marks seemed less intense each time I did the laser. I was super happy with the results. It meant that when I put makeup on, I really did feel confident. I didn't need to put loads of concealer. I didn't need to use things like Vishal Derma Blend, which I'd relied on to cover up my acne scars. and I just felt tons better in my own skin, which was just such a relief. It almost been sort of a year to the day after getting acne that I then felt confident enough to sort of walk out without any makeup on, without feeling like everyone was looking at my skin. So I was really, really grateful. So the pros and cons of getting this laser treatment. I would say pros are, it certainly works. You really do see a reduction in redness in your skin, and it makes you a hell of a lot more confident than what you would be if you'd left this. I would also say another pro of doing this is that it makes you feel hopeful. So if you're actively doing something about acne scars, which, you know, some people don't mind having acne scars, and that's completely fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with having, you know, skin that isn't perfect. But for me, it really, really bothered me, and I really wanted to do something about this fast. So it really filled me with hope. And you know, actively doing something about it really made me feel better about the situation. I would say another pro to this is that it's fairly easy and harmless, so you're not doing any permanent damage to your skin. It really doesn't feel like it's the most painful treatment. I actually found derma rolling far more painful than getting a laser treatment. Another pro to this is that it's done in no time at all, so the treatment actually only lasted probably about 15 minutes. I honestly drove up there in about, as I said, 3-4 hours, was there for sort of 15 minutes and then drove home again. So it was a really, really quick treatment, and certainly nothing that I would particularly worry about doing again if I had to. So cons. The first con I would say is the price. So I've just checked my emails and seen how much I paid for this, and I am in shock. I mean, I'm just gonna plead temporary insanity from having acne scars, because I quite honestly can't believe I paid this. So I obviously paid this in 4 installments. This included the consultation with the dermatologist, this included the 3 treatments and some products for aftercare. I paid £744. That is a crazy amount of money. So I think I must have paid them in about sort of £250 installments. So that really just describes the desperation I was in to clear this up, because that is a lot of money, and I really don't think I would pay that again, particularly as acne scars in this sense. So the hyperpigmentation left does clear on its own, and I think there are things you could do at home to speed up that process anyway. So I don't think laser treatment is completely necessary. I think I was just desperate to get my skin back on track. So another con was that I couldn't really find anybody online that had gone through this treatment for acne scars. I'd seen a lot of people do this online for rosacea or kind of broken capillaries, I think they're called, like broken veins, but not very many people have done this for acne scars, so it doesn't fill you with complete confidence that it's going to work. So that's a huge reason why I'm making this video today, because if you are somebody that has looked into this and you are wanting to see the results from somebody that had red marks and acne scars and what this did to their skin, then this is for you. But I also think another con to this is that it isn't that accessible. You can't really find anywhere in London that I found that would do this for this price, and you could really have a trusted doctor do this. So, you know, an actual dermatologist rather than a nurse. And then obviously the biggest downside to this is the amount of time you have to stay at home afterwards. So it's not a case that you can just make a quick recovery and go back to work or go back to doing whatever you normally do. There is a lot of downtime. And I think, you know, for a normal working person that has any responsibilities, it's quite hard to fit this into their lives. I was just very, very lucky that my boss was super understanding, let me work from home, and that I had lovely friends who came and visited me, and I wasn't sat at home all day on my own. But I think that really could be the case if you do get this treatment. So would I recommend this for acne scars? I would absolutely recommend this for red marks left after acne. So much so that I recommended this to my friend, and she has also gone through this treatment and would also recommend this. Her skin looks great after as well. So yes, I would definitely recommend this if you are suffering with really deep red marks, you want to clear them up quickly, and this is something that you can afford. I would not say that if it's going to be a real struggle to pay this sort of money that you should go and get it, because like I said, there are definitely things you can do at home. I was just in a desperate situation where I really wanted these gone, and I was lucky enough to, you know, afford to be able to do this. I was living at home at the time, and I saved up the money, and I was desperate to get this done. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the aftercare treatment, because like I said, the nurse, once you'd had the treatment done, would put a layer of sort of Vaseline on your face so that you automatically didn't have sort of peeling skin, or your skin wasn't burnt or sore or red. So that really helped. But the aftercare treatment going forward, so once you got home, was to just gently cleanse. So I was already using Cetaphil cleanser. That is what I continue to do, but I only cleanse my face once a day. I would wash off the moisturizer and then apply another layer, and that is literally it. I would not touch my skin, would not put any sort of toners, makeup, nothing. I would just leave it as it was for an entire week, get my hair out of my face, and then Going forward from the Monday after, when I said I went back to work, I would then apply the Vichy Derma Blend foundation so that I could cover some of the red marks still left. But otherwise, it was a really simple skincare routine, and I definitely wouldn't recommend putting anything on for acne because that will just irritate the skin, and you want to, make sure the healing time is reduced. So the second thing that I did, and I only did this after the second round, was to use arnica. So they were little tablets. In fact, they're like a little supplement, so I got them from Holland & Barrett or a health food shop. I want to say maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't bruise as badly the second and third time, and it might also be a reason why the process healed much quicker for me. So yes, I would bear that in mind, and if you are doing this treatment, then I would recommend arnica. Other ways to care for your skin is just by simply babying your skin. So once you wash your face, it's very, very gently dabbing your face with a towel, no rubbing, no abrasive scrubs, nothing with any chemicals in there whatsoever. You want to be super, super gentle and just aid the recovery time. And then honestly, I can't see anything going wrong. I haven't read anywhere where people have been like permanently burnt or scarred or anything from this laser. It is honestly, despite the look of it, quite gentle. So yes, it would be something I would recommend. And lastly, I would just recommend getting like a ton of box sets, sitting at home and just actually taking some time out for yourself. It's actually quite nice being forced to stay in and not do anything. If you're permanently on the go and you've got tons of responsibilities and you're always at work and you're out seeing your friends, it's quite nice to be forced to stay at home and just do nothing. So I know it can get really boring, and that's why I would encourage people to come over and see you and have things to do like working from home. But honestly, it's so lovely just to have a day or 2 days where you're at home with nothing to do and you're being forced just to sit there, watch a box set, read a magazine, have a bath, just do whatever you want to do really. So yes, it is quite nice to have some time out. Okay guys, so thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or any comments about this, then please leave them below. I'll be happy to get back to anybody. I know that dealing with acne scars and hyperpigmentation is a really big deal for some. I certainly really wanted to get rid of them as fast as possible, so I'm really happy to share any information that I kind of came across whilst researching acne scars, any things that I have actually tried and that have been successful. I also want to make a video about derma rolling, as I found that super helpful for my indentations. But as far as the red marks go, this has definitely been the way that I've cleared those up and had the most success. So let me know if this is a treatment that you've also gone through and whether it worked for you. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video and you found it really helpful, then please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more content. I'm going to be making videos every single week on how I managed to clear my acne and what I'm doing to maintain clear skin. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in my next one. So my idea for today's video is to run you through exactly what I'm going to eat. I really believe that the best way to clear your skin is through diet. I've seen real changes in my skin when I've cleaned up my diet and ruled out refined sugar, refined carbohydrates, and obviously that's what I've been eating a ton of over the Christmas period. So yeah, today I'm going to run you through what I'm going to have for breakfast and then also lunch and dinner. I might see if I can squeeze in a few additionals as well, like what I'm going to have snack wise. And yeah, it will be a good indication of what I'm going to be doing through January to clear up my skin and get myself back on track. So stay tuned.